But people, they don't bring those people with those kind of special needs in places like that because they know it might be a possibility all those things could happen. Because when you have that certain
Mhm.
disability, you can get really overwhelmed. And why would, when you have that disability, people only like being inside their own homes because they're comfortable with being in their own home rather than in public.
All right.
So let's go back to the screaming part. So if a child frequently is screaming, not just a one time or two time, if they're constantly screaming, obviously they're going to be asked to leave. If the kid is disrespecting everyone, like asking very inappropriate questions, obviously that's not going to be allowed either. And if the kid is going in places like the kitchen or whatever the case may be, that's not going to be allowed either. So just because you're a kid doesn't mean you can get away with these things. And if you do, give me an example, okay? Okay, just because a kid's going to be a kid doesn't mean it's okay. And I was never like this as a kid, so I must have been an adult. Hello.
No.
So, do you know how to read?
Yeah, I'm on 8th grade reading level, and I'm in 3rd grade.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, let me ask you a couple questions, okay?
Okay. If
Ha-
my mic is laggy, tell me because I'm on computer.
okay. Have you ever hit somebody before on a frequent basis?
Well, not on a daily basis, but I fight with my brother sometimes. But also at school someone kicked me in the balls, so I did it back.
Oh, okay. Have you ever broke something on purpose before?
One time I was riding, I was like 5. I got angry, so I threw my iPad out the window.
Okay. Have you ever stole from anybody before?
No, I haven't stolen from anybody except my brother.
Okay. Have you ever screamed over and over again for no reason?
Scream at my brother, but for a reason.
Okay. Have you ever been disrespectful on a daily basis?
Well, I jokingly do it to my mom.
Do you do it to anyone else?
No.
Okay. Have you ever went in a place you never been before and you knew it was wrong and you still did it?
Well, one time my parents asked me to skip the line because I'm little and they wouldn't notice, so I did that.
Okay. And you know right from wrong.
Yes, I really do.
Okay. So you are a 70, no, you are an 85% good child because obviously you're going to get into some disagreements with your sibling. That's not like something you like can never do. But you didn't say you did this to anybody else besides your brother.
Also, I've gotten into some disagreements at school, and also I've kind of been kind of like jokingly rude to my classmates because they're my friends. And one is lives in my neighborhood, so we know we're joking.
Okay, joking, it could be disrespectful, but if it's your friend, I don't really care about that, to be
Well, my
honest.
friend, they so it's like let's say we're calling each other names. We know that's joking, and we laugh. So it's like, yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to say how old you are or no?
I'm 8.
So, an 8-year-old knows, and he just admitted that he does wrong sometimes, and he knows right from wrong. So, let me ask you another question, little boy. Can you please unmute? Oh, he got dropped. Okay. No, I'm scared. What do you mean? What you scared of? Hmm? Okay, hello?
Hello?
Hi. Do you know how to read?
Yeah, I do.
Have you read the description?
Yeah, I have.
Awesome. So do you agree or disagree still?
I 100% disagree because a kid is a kid. They're not fully mature. A child. The- When I was 5 years old, I stole a lollipop from the store. I don't know why I did it because I was a child. My brain wasn't fully knowledge. I wasn't fully matured. Do you expect the mother to have this child isolated in the room until they behave how you want them to behave? You expect to isolate that child in the room, and then when they're an adult and they go into the public, they're not going to know what to do with themselves because they were isolated, because they didn't behave right, because they were a child, they were a kid, a toddler.
So you don't think kids can understand right from wrong? Is that what you're telling me?
It depends on the age. A 5-year old's not going to like know right from wrong. They're 5 years old. They're going to make mistakes.
So you need to be a certain age to know right from wrong?
Yes, I would agree. You
So what
even
age?
imagine you're
So
two
what
years
are the
old and you don't know
ages?
right from wrong. In
So
my
what are
opinion,
the
for your
ages?
age, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's at least when you hit 6 years old. At least 6.
Is when you can comprehend right from wrong, right?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so let's just talk about the 6-year-olds and up to 17. So if a 6-year-old is doing all those things, what do you think should happen to them?
Obviously, they should get a punishment, you know. I don't think a kid should ever get away with doing these things because obviously they're not right. But you shouldn't like expect them to never go into public just because they do some of these things. Like they shouldn't like because imagine they're doing some of these things and they never go out into public. They reach an adult and they're not
You
going to know
already
what to
said
do with
that. We're not going to
themselves.
repeat the same thing, okay?
Well, I will repeat the same thing. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not my mother,
Then you
so
can
that's
leave.
one thing.
Bye.
Did you say why?
I said you can leave. Goodbye.
So you're mad because I called you out because what this whole debate is
No, I'm not mad about that. It's
stupid.
just you're
It's
repeating the same
stupid.
thing. You're repeating the
Okay,
same
and I can
things.
repeat the same thing if I want to.
Yeah,
There's
but
nothing
I
wrong
already
with me
heard
repeating the
you.
same thing. You've repeated the same thing over and over and over again too. So I don't I
Uh,
don't know what you're trying
to
to
people who
do.
didn't hear me.
Okay.
So if they ask me, hey, can you repeat? I'm going to repeat. But I already heard you. I didn't say anything. I already heard you. You don't got to repeat
But I can
yourself.
say it again if I want to.
I
I'm
know.
my
You
own
just said
person.
that. I know you just said that. I know you
And
can
I'll
repeat
say it
it.
again if you want me to. I will keep saying it.
Why?
Be- First of all, because I don't know you. You're not going to tell me what I can say and what I can't say and what I can repeat and what I can't repeat. I'm my
But I
own
can tell
person.
you that I already heard you. So what's the point of repeating it?
Okay, and there's a thing called like I might not have remembered saying that, and I'm gonna repeat. I'm a person. I make mistakes. Like golly, we get it. You're a
Yeah,
perfect
but you
kid.
didn't say that.
You are a perfect
You said
kid.
I
When you were
can
little,
repeat
you
it
didn't say
because
never hit
I can
anyone. You
say
were
and do
perfect.
whatever I
You were
want.
like all
You
this
can't
perfect
say and do
thing.
whatever you want, but I'm
No,
listening to what you're
shut up,
saying,
Victoria. Shut up, because this
so you
debate
don't
is
have to
ended.
repeat
Everyone's
4 times
agreeing with me. No one has
in this
agreed with
same
you.
minute.
It's all diabolical. Have a wonderful day.
Not with you around. I just hate a repeater. Look, I already heard you the 4 to 7 times you just said it.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Do you know how to
Hi.
read?
Yes.
Have you read the description yet?
Yes.
Great. So do you agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Why?
Okay, so as you know, people and kids, well, kids, you know how they hit break, steal, scream, and be disrespectful. Some people can't really control how they act because some certain people can have disabilities, and um, it can make like their brain do things that they know they shouldn't. But they can have like kind of like attacks. Like you know how like you're autistic and like sometimes like you act a certain way. Some people can't help that, and just because they have that problem doesn't mean they shouldn't go outside.
Okay, that's not really true. But most kids don't have what you just said. Most kids don't have special needs. So I'm not going to really talk about that issue if that's not what the kid I'm talking about. Because if they have special needs, um, also they still wouldn't be allowed to do any of those things in the description.
I mean, most kids just choose to be naughty. Like I get what you mean, but like just because they're
We
naughty
cannot
doesn't
hear her. That's fine. You don't have to hear her. You're not the one debating her.
just because like some people choose to be naughty, but like they can be punished in different types of ways. You can't just like be punished by like not being allowed to go outside because you still need to experience school.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. If a kid, listen, you said you read the description. This is the kid that we're dealing with. So it's not just like a kid that only does, these things one time. This is a kid that frequently hits, frequently breaks things, frequently steals.
I know what you mean, but like
Okay? So we're not going to have an ordinary approach when dealing with this kind of child. We have to up the step in the discipline.
okay.
So what do you think should go down if a child acts like this? What do you think that can help them?
They can get punished by their parents.
Okay, but how would the punishment go down? Like, how would they discipline them?
Well, they can go to a boot camp. They can go to a boarding
A
school.
boot camp? A boarding school?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Or their parents
Okay.
can just how to do that themselves. But
yeah, they should do it themselves. Because it's no one else's responsibility to raise your child. So why would you send them to a boot camp or a boarding school when you can use the same tactics if you think it will work on your own child?
But
So you guys get so comfortable just letting other people take care of your kids. It's your child. You need to help them, nobody else.
Okay, but they can still go outside because their parent or guardian will be with them.
Okay, there's people who have their parent near them, but they still act like that. So just because
their parents can handle it and they can help.
The parent isn't helping if they allow their child to do this on a frequent basis.
Not all parents do that.
We're not talking about all. That's why it says most kids don't belong, not all.
Because you said most kids do like hitting, breaking, stealing, screaming, disrespectful, trespassing. Their parents can handle it.
Okay.
And that's why boarding schools exist, because sometimes that doesn't work, like you said.
Okay, but boarding school is just like what I'm saying. They keep them away from other people, which would be public.
You can't go outside. And
so if you like for a kid to go to boot camp and boarding school, what's different with this one? What I'm talking about.
They can still experience outside, and there's still a whole bunch of like guardians that can help them. What you're saying is
no, that's not what I'm saying. Do the people who run the boarding schools and the boot camp, do they go out to restaurants and playgrounds?
No.
Okay, but this is what the parents are doing to the kids that are acting like this. They still would allow them to go to fun places, so the kid thinks he's being rewarded for doing these things.
You just said public. You didn't say that in the topic.
Public can mean all types of things.
Exactly. But that's why I'm talking about other things too, not just fun places.
Okay, so what is a place that you're talking about? What?
What if they're at the store?
So they can steal?
Their parents will be there with them, so they won't steal.
Okay, but their parents still are with them when they're doing these things. That's the point.
And they can help.
How would they help?
Tell them not to do it and punish them, like an ordinary parent.
Okay, so how would the punishment go down?
Yell at them, hit them, discriminate them.
Discriminate them?
Yes.
Okay, so
that will help them to stop doing what they're doing. They don't need to be punished about not going outside in public
So you
places.
think hitting your child and yelling at your child is much better than putting them in their room, taking their electronics, and telling them what they did wrong until they
That's
learn how to behave?
better than not be able to go outside because you need to see the natural world. You need air. You can't just be locked
You,
up in the
you
house.
you can get air from inside of your house. Did you know
Yeah, but why are
that?
you just in the building? You can still go outside. You can go in your
Okay,
backyard.
outside is not a wonderful place like you're trying to frame it as to be.
Freedom. You need to go outside and breathe.
People who act like this don't deserve freedom.
Okay, but they can just go outside with their parents.
Alright, you're not getting it. Goodbye.
Okay, well, I won this, and you know that.
You didn't win nothing, okay? It's not even a win or lose. It's to get an understandment. Hello, cornball. Hold up. The point of the debate is not rewarding these kids. And that's what you're trying to do. You're rewarding these kids with things, their freedom, when they do these bad things. That doesn't teach them nothing. Hello.
My God. Hello.
Do you know how to read?
Yes, and I read the description.
Awesome. So do you agree or disagree still?
I disagree.
Why?
So you understand what human rights are, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do agree that children should be disciplined and not praised if they hit or if they're hitting somebody, breaking things, stealing, screaming, or being disrespectful or trespassing. Screaming is usually resulted for when the child is in pain or not understanding something, such as younger, they're not going to always understand everything.
Okay. So they don't understand, so they just scream over and over again?
It's usually so they can't express themselves fully. Usually, children under the age of 7 scream.
For what? If they don't get things
Mature
that they want?
screaming. I never. Well, if they don't get things that they want, or if they're injured, if they're sad, or if someone's picking on them, such as an older sibling.
So that can, like, if you get hurt, that's not just a child thing. When you get hurt, a lot of people scream. If it's like really painful. So that's not just a
Yes,
child.
but children are more sensitive to pain than more matured people. Such as when I was a child, I would cry and scream if I scraped my knee.
Okay, but that's not what I'm saying. It would be like on a daily basis. Did you get hurt a lot for you to constantly scream?
No, but do you have any evidence of children screaming constantly?
Do you?
Yes, because I go in public frequently.
Yeah, me too. Of course, I have some type of experience with this. Obviously, it's a pretty weird question.
So, what age were the children mostly?
I don't know the exact age of every single child that acts up like this, but I can probably give you an estimate.
Yes.
So it would be like 2 to 15.
So, children that are screaming and crying, that are the ages of teenagers. So, most likely those are children with special needs.
No. They can be not screaming in the same type of instance. Like they can be like very loud, like laugh very loud, or just like, yeah, just be very loud screaming.
So, screaming and laughing are not the same thing. It seems like you have never heard such a funny joke that you might have laughed a bit loudly than usual.
Well, screaming can be like a lot of things. You don't have to be sad or get hurt to scream. You can be angry,
Correct, but
you can be
screaming.
happy in screaming, but if it's a frequent basis, neither is allowed.
So screaming while being happy, that's called okay, I'm sorry, I have a hard time pronouncing squealing. Also, usually children scream for a primarily form as communication and emotional release.
Okay, well, those will probably be special needs kind of kids.
So I'm talking about children under the ages of 6 and under. So children of those ages are still developing speech.
So, if that's true, why would screaming be more acceptable?
It is not acceptable. Children should be taught that you shouldn't scream because it is not okay to scream in public. But again, screaming can help if you're in a quiet room that is noise
We're
cancellation.
not
Some
talking
people
about
need to scream
quiet room, we're
louder.
talking about in public.
Okay.
So I guess you just admitted that if a kid frequently is screaming, it's not okay.
Yes, it's not okay, but speech development doesn't finish around to the age of 12. Also, people with special needs cannot always express themselves, and they're trying to do their best to
Yeah,
express themselves,
well,
but the best they can do
that's
is really
people with
scream and
special
cry.
needs. They don't constantly scream unless they have severe of that special needs. And those people are usually not out in the public because they get overwhelmed with being out in public, so they would be more comfortable staying inside. So let's stop talking about special
So
needs
there are
people
different
because they're
types.
not even the type to be outside like that, the way I'm phrasing it.
So there's many different there are there's many different types of special needs that result into different reactions. You understand that, correct?
Yeah, but special needs people are not just all the time out in public, like what's going on right there, because they feel overwhelmed and they prefer staying inside.
Yes, but not all special needs people can stay inside, as
It's
you cannot
most.
always keep a child inside. Also, describe what you mean. Children do not belong in public. Do you mean they should be in their house the whole day?
Well, yeah, that's what I would mean, obviously.
So is this including school?
There's many kids that are homeschooled, and it might be the best approach because kids who are bullies act like this, and it affects other kids. And some teachers don't know what they're talking about.
That bullies are terrible, but also homeschooling is also very negative for children for a reason because of their losing their ability to make friends and all of that, and then just randomly letting them out in the world
You don't need to
without.
have an ability to make friends. You'll be perfectly fine if you don't have any.
So you understand that without socially interacting with humans, that's physically bad for
No,
our.
a child doesn't just socially talk with other humans just being in school. You can go to other places to do that. But
So, but
school is
then
not
you see
100% good
yourself
or
like
even 50% a good place for
then
kids
that
either.
it seems like you're contradicting yourself because you're saying that they can go other places to interact with people, but you're saying they don't belong in public.
I'm saying the kids that behave like this.
Yes, but even they need social interactions, or they'll develop, they'll develop even worse.
No, they do not.
So, where will they be able to have these social interactions?
When they learn how to behave.
So, you want to lock them up for until they're like 12 and up?
No, I want to lock them up until they learn how to behave, which shouldn't require 6 or 2 years.
You think so at the age of, do you remember anything from the age of 2?
No.
So yes, children absolutely need social interactions with friends. That is scientifically that's scientifically proved that children need to go outside and
We're not
play.
talking about just children, every single child. We're talking about kids, most kids that act like this.
Still human and they still need to go outside and meet people and have friends. Yes, they
So
hit it.
you
They
think it's more
understand that hitting
catastrophic
isn't cool.
if they will literally affect other kids acting like this, which is like disturbing. You think it's more better for them to not only go outside and to talk and to affect other kids with this kind of behavior than staying inside and learning what they did is not okay because they're exhibiting hitting, breaking, stealing, biting, being disrespectful, and trespassing.
So can you give me examples of
Yes or
children,
no?
the ages? Give me an estimate of the
Yes or
children
no?
that hit. No.
Exactly.
Now, can you answer my question since I answered you? Give give me an estimate of the ages that hit and bite.
Most kids.
You didn't give me an age. So kids fall under the ages of 17.
Mhm.
You have met a
So let
17-year-old
me.
that hit and bite.
Mhm. But most kids act like this, right? All kids maybe act like this. But for them to understand right and wrong would be up to 3 years old to 17.
So is this scientifically proved?
Yeah.
What's your source?
Google.
What's your source?
Google. Hey girl. I don't understand why you just sickly think like this, like it's just okay. Just even if a child is acting like this, they still deserve to be hanging around other kids because it would influence the other kids to do
Because
this.
putting them
So
in a
kids who act like
when
this
the child is
don't
fully
deserve to be out in public to affect other people. It's not okay.
so children being developing a basic sense of right and wrong during toddlerhood around the age of 4. However, they do not fully understand the deep nuances of
We're not talking about
morality,
fully.
empathy,
We're not talking about
until
fully.
between ages of 10 and 12.
We're not talking about fully.
Yes, but full they can say, oh, right is good and bad is bad and wrong is bad, but they're not going to fully understand what.
You don't need to fully understand something to know that it is out there.
Were you completely good behaving child, never cried when you were upset, hurt, injured, or didn't get something
Not
you
on a
wanted?
daily basis.
Most children who do it on a daily basis are you going to respond to that?
You cut out.
Oh, I said most children
So
that act like that on a daily basis are special needs.
wait,
That's
what
not
happened?
true.
What?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so then then most children that act like that are most likely under the age of 6.
It doesn't excuse their behavior.
They they still are learning things. They're
If the Google search you
6
said
isn't.
is if
They
if the
just got
Google
in
search
school. They just
just
got in
said
school. They just
that they
got
can get a
school. They just got
grasp
school.
of good and wrong between 4 to whatever the other age, so they can get a grasp of what's right and wrong. So if you can get it at 4 years old, but that's not true, but we'll just say 4, why would their behavior still be excused like they wouldn't understand?
So let's say let's say my parents tell me taxes
Are you
is
going to answer the
owned by the
question?
government. Am I gonna No,
I
because I'm
fairly
using an
disagree with
example.
this.
Let's say my parents tell me
Give it
that
a second,
taxes
okay,
is
Pablo?
money to pay the government, and then I fully understand taxes. I would just know it's just paying the government.
Yeah, you can just know something and not know it fully to know a little bit of it.
Yes, but a little bit is not the full concept of it. Just
I
saying, hey,
know,
good,
but that's not the
doing
point.
right is good and doing wrong
The
is
point
bad. But
is
nothing
they can understand
good
to a
that
certain
no actually
extent
is. Yes,
of
they
when
can. No,
something's right and wrong.
you're a degenerate. You fucking suck. You're a whore.
Oh, that's a shame. And at least I don't like men as a man. That's pretty disgusting.
Yo,
Yo,
alright, so like, do you think like when George Floyd was a kid, he couldn't be in public?
what did he do as a kid?
I don't know. I mean,
Then why are you asking me if you don't even know yourself? Oh my god.
You were a kid at the time. Let that sink in, please.
I wasn't a kid acting like this. Let that sink in.
So we don't steal. We don't break. I don't break. I don't
Oh,
scream at
but I
people.
thought the excuse was, oh, you were a kid, so you must have been doing this.
You're a kid. You
And
were
what are
a kid.
you?
A human being.
That is a kid.
Yeah. You were also you were also a kid at one time. So why are you saying that kids don't belong in public at all?
Look
You
at
don't
the
belong in
description.
public now. You don't belong in public now.
Look at the description if you can read, Pablo.
Most kids don't belong in not all. If hitting, breaking, stealing, screaming. I don't scream.
Okay, but I'm not
I
talking
don't
about
break.
just about you.
I don't steal, and I don't hit.
Okay, great. So you deserve to be in public. Do you think kids that act like that should be in public?
No, kids who act normal and aren't wild people belong in public, but kids who don't belong in public act crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so I'm not a crazy kid.
No one said you were.
You think I am? I already know that. You don't have to say anything about that.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro. People are fucking stupid. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So in the description, are those all your reasons?
Mm-hmm.
Or like why?
Yeah.
Okay, so first off with the hitting thing, do you have any sort of percentage or like facts or source on any data showing what percentage of kids hit people?
Like when they're a temper tantrum, when they're throwing one.
I understand kids may have that, but that doesn't always end with them hitting. So do you have any source to show that most kids or a majority of them, or etc., etc., turn to hitting people?
It could be one of what's going on in a temper tantrum. You want an estimate?
No, I want a source that proves that most kids hit.
Okay, let's see.
Hello.
Okay, so the source that I have for you, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
It is the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And what it states is that kids can get aggressive and act angry around adults and peers, and the percentage is 69.6 of children that hit or smacked someone in the past month, according to their parent. And the same study shows that 94 of children in that age has engaged at least one physical behavior, like such as kicking, hitting, biting, punching, or throwing objects in the past month.
Okay.
Sorry, no, go on, you go.
It's okay. So why does them hitting and doing things like that should stop them from going out in public?
Because not only would it affect, the parents, it will affect other people. And I feel like it's unfair for other people to deal with that. And just because it's their child, doesn't mean the child's only going to do it with them. They will probably exhibit it to other people too.
When you say they can't be in public, do you mean like not be able to go outside?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you're just imprisoning children? Like,
what does a boarding school does? Or a boot camp? What do they do?
Yeah, but they can still go to public places.
Oh, like what?
Well, they can go on school trips and things like that.
No, they don't.
Can they not?
Nope. A boot camp in a boarding school for misbehaving kids?
I've never been to a boot camp or a boarding school. I'm not really.
My cousin has. She wasn't allowed to do that unless her mom was visiting.
Well, okay, maybe that's that. But that's besides the point. The point is, how on earth are you if you just force children indoors for their entire life, that's not proper development. They need to go outside and see
No
the
one
world.
said for their entire lives, so I don't know where you're getting that from.
Entire childhood.
No, until they learn how to behave, obviously.
You know, boarding schools are like K through 12, right?
They could be. There's others that cannot.
Yeah, a majority of them are K through 12, and that is
your
the
point?
majority of the kids' lifetime. Point is that boarding schools are
That's not a majority of the kids' lifetime.
Especially
unless they live up to 18.
The majority of a childhood, I think, is what we're trying to get at.
Yeah, and so when their development is in such a harsh condition, I don't think that's optimal.
Yeah, I'm not asking them to send them to a boarding school. I was just making a point that if you don't agree with it, there's places
How would
that
you
have
enforce this?
Can you please be quiet? There's places that enforce worse action. But nobody has asked me yet, what exactly do I mean? So I'll just wait until I get asked that.
Okay.
Oh, all right. What do you mean then?
So if a kid is exhibiting those behaviors, if not all, they should be taken away from public. They shouldn't be rewarded to go to restaurants or the park or even hanging out with their friends if they're doing that, because that's not going to put an end to it. No, staying out with their friends, hanging out.
Wait,
so
did you just say tucking away? You mean taken?
Whatever the case may be. They should be inside their house. For one, their mother or father, whoever is there, should tell them why they're being taken away, and put them in the room, take their electronics, and let them sit there until they come out and explain what I did wrong, and I understand I won't do that again. That shouldn't take 24 hours. It shouldn't take 2 hours or 6 months.
How would you even enforce something like this? You realize something like this would be like impossible to enforce.
No, it's not impossible. I don't know what you're talking about.
So if a kid goes outside, like if a parent is fine with their kids going outside, and their kids go out inside, what are the police going to have to come around? How would you enforce something like this?
I just said it shouldn't take 24 hours or 6 months or even 2 hours for a child to come to you and express, yeah, I did something wrong and I'm sorry and I won't do it again.
No.
Did you not hear that
You're
part?
saying...
So how are you going
I think you
to make
misunderstand.
everybody and their kid do that? How are you going to enforce this?
I think you misunderstood what I was saying. What I'm saying is that what you're saying is you think that there should be like a rule that kids can't be out in public. You think that all parents need to keep their kids inside, right, until they mature. How would
Can you read the
enforce
description?
That?
Read the description.
Most kids... Well, the description here that says most kids don't belong. Not all. Not
exactly.
All.
So not all
hitting...
parents need to follow this. The parents that need to follow this is the kids. Their kids exhibiting those behaviors in the description.
So how are you going to make those parents do it? Like, how are you going to?
That's not my job. It's only to communicate what's the best.
Oh right, okay.
And which I'm allowed to do without enforcing, by the way.
All right, so. You're basically saying that you want parents to discipline their unruly kids better. That's basically what you're saying.
No, I'm saying what's in the description.
Right, all those things you could stop a child doing with better parenting, with discipline, not by
this is a form of discipline, by the way.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. There's better ways to discipline than this.
Can you give me an example?
If this was effective, this would be in like every single parenting book. I've never seen a single parent
because
lock their kids up inside because they like specifically from public places.
Have you heard of grounding or timeout?
I've heard of grounding. Yeah.
So what's so different about grounding and timeout than what I'm saying? What's really the big difference?
Because you're making a statement that all kids don't belong in public. That's like what the
What
thing
is grounding?
Says. Kids don't belong in public.
What is timeout?
Grounding, right. When kids misbehave, they can't go outside. They get grounded indoors. I get what you're saying. That's a form of discipline. That's not what this says. This says kids don't belong in public. That's a different statement.
No,
if your
but
statement is
it's not different than grounding. No. What's the difference between?
It is different.
What's the difference between this? I'm telling them, or telling an option that they should take their kid out if they're acting like that, out from public, keep them indoors, tell them what they did wrong, take their electronics away until they come out and apologize and explain what they did wrong, which shouldn't take 24 hours to do.
That's fine.
What's the difference between that and grounding?
There's not that much difference between that and grounding, but that's not what this says. This says
there is a difference.
Your thing here.
There is a difference.
Your thing here says kids don't belong in public.
Didn't you just told me that?
To be saying is, yeah, I know.
So why are you repeating it?
You're arguing.
It's 100% what I'm arguing.
Let me speak. If you keep interrupting me, you're not going to understand anything. I think that's why you're confused.
Well, if you're repeating the same thing, I'm not going to understand that either.
Stop. Let me speak. Right?
Okay, let's see if it's a repeat.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Let's see if it's a repeat. Let's go.
Bro,
what do you got to say?
Oh my word. Right.
I mean, you're also repeating yourself, so it's kind of hypocritical of you to say that.
Let's hear what you got to say.
Right. The statement says here, kids don't belong in public. And now what you're basically arguing is that kids should get grounded when they misbehave. Kids
That's not what I said.
That's essentially what you're arguing. That is like summed up at simplest what you're saying.
Okay, wait,
no, it's
so
not.
what's the difference between what you're saying and grounding?
Grounding is an estimated time. Like they're grounded for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. This, what I'm saying, is not an estimated time. Because in those time, let me speak. They're because at the same time, the kids are looking forward to that time period being over. Panic is not a time period of change and what you expect to see. It's when the child comes out and express what they did wrong. That's when you can uplift the rules. But if not, then yeah, it's different than grounding.
So
Okay,
it's
so
it's
what's
grounding until they apologize.
Can you stop
basically.
talking because she's talking right now?
oh well, I was gonna ask what's stopping the kid from just going up there, admitting they're wrong, and continuing to do it. If there's no real punishment, because they only get punished for how long it takes for them to apologize. So if they apologize really quickly, they'll get out of it just as quickly.
Exactly.
Well, no one's telling them this. It would just have to be organic, like I said. So the mother or the father is not saying, "Oh, come to me when you apologize and you know what you did wrong." No,
Yeah,
they had
so
to figure that
would
out on
work.
themselves.
That would work for the first few times, but once they figure out, if they apologize for their stuff, they're going to start recognizing that pattern. If they apologize, they get what they want. So they're going to continue to apologize to just get what they want, and then that's all
But
they
there
have.
would have to be change too. So it's not going to be just an apology, then let out, and then they do it again. It would have to be them doing change, exhibiting behaviors that's not the same anymore
Okay,
either.
so
I thought this would
with
be common sense.
So if you keep them inside to the point where they can't go into public or exhibit any of these behaviors, how are you going to tell if they changed or not?
These behaviors don't just come from being in public. This will have to stem from inside your house, obviously.
Okay, so it's not just in public, why are we keeping them out of public?
Because it should be no one else's problem to deal with your child. And the public might have a different form of discipline onto dealing with somebody like this. All right? They might hit the child, kidnap, or the police might get contact, and it might be put on the parent's record because of their child's behavior. So the public has a different way of approaching the situation, and the public shouldn't even have to deal with the situation because it's not theirs. So the best ability is just to deal inside your own home because it's your own child, and no one else should be subjected to what problems that you caused for your child.
Yes, but also, like, the world is not just yours. Like, everybody shares the world, and that includes kids as well. Like, what you effectively are saying is that you want kids to be disciplined properly so they don't misbehave in public spaces. Now, that is a very reasonable thing to want. It's a reasonable thing to ask for, but the method that you're suggesting doesn't really make a lot of sense. When you discipline a child, you discipline them because you want them to learn why what they did is wrong. Like she just said, if you're just going to do it off an apology basis, where, right, okay, you're basically going to ground them until they apologize. Once the kid learns that all they need to do is apologize or display behavior that the parents want to see, then they're just going to do that immediately. And if you're not running off a time basis where once they misbehave, right, if they get punished by being grounded for like several days, no matter what, that's punishment. They learn not to do that. They learn why it's wrong. If they learn that they can just get out of it whenever they want by apologizing or displaying changed behavior, that's not going to get the result we want.
So
that's why this isn't a method that exists.
The kid explaining what they did wrong and them changing their behavior that is not the same of what it once was, how would that not be a positive type of situation? I'm confused.
Because they can lie. Because they can just lie. Kids lie all the time. Have you ever worked with a kid?
You can lie, but the change. So
well,
that would be
discipline them. If
so
you
that
actually like ground them properly, like actually
so that
them,
would be an oppressive kid. That would be an extremely smart IQ kid to literally morph their whole behavior just for their parents, who they usually be around. Just to do the same exact things in other places that wouldn't consist of their parent. It will always consist of their parent. So it would make a change. I don't know what world you're living in. I don't think a child's capable of just doing that.
Have you ever okay, sorry,
you know what pattern recognition is? You know what that is?
I know what a pattern is.
Okay, so pattern recognition is, you recognize patterns, right? The human species as a whole has this. Even infants can recognize certain patterns.
Exactly.
So it does not matter what age you are. If you say this, you get this, it will become a pattern. And if you're able to
and if you act like this too.
Huh?
And if you're able to act like that too, right?
Act like what?
If you're able to say, you have to be able to act. Is that goes along with that
I'm
too?
not following.
I wasn't talking to you.
Well,
Because
I'm
that's what
here,
I'm saying.
You are.
So that's
If-
what I'm saying. So it's not just a sorry and then they get off. It would have to be them changing their behavior and them being able to explain what they did wrong. Which not every kid is capable of doing those things and just lie about it. And just be let off the hook.
So how would they change? Okay, so first off, if it is a one child and two parents, most children, you know, they hit other children, they scream at other children or other people in public who are not their parents, who are not people they're used to, right? So, you know, arguably why you don't want them in public. So if they stay in the house with their parents, they're not going to do as much stuff as they would as if they're in public.
But does it have
It's
to do with
easier
anything?
to lie about it and for them to just get away with it and then be allowed back in public.
Yeah, but that's a very manipulating child, and that would be another instance. But usually, majority, if a child's telling you, I'm sorry, and explain what they did wrong, and they're changing their movements, that'll be a positive thing. It wouldn't be, oh, this child's being extremely manipulative. Let me see. Like, no. That's not what you would think. That wouldn't be your first thought unless you are that child.
Well,
Okay.
I think what we're missing is that if a child does something wrong, and they can learn
Me too.
to apologize and show the behavior,
You still think they may be like lying about it.
Right. What I'm saying is that like if you have a kid who's gone through this process multiple times, they could do something wrong and they know they did it wrong, and then parents are going to get them in trouble. Then they know, right, I will just apologize. I will change my behavior, right? Because they know that's what their parents are going to want to see. But that doesn't mean that they deep down know why it's wrong. They just know what.
It don't matter if they know deep down. It just matters if it's changed.
We need children to know what's right and wrong, and you're not going to do that.
Okay, but again, they
method.
can't comprehend the deep down fullest extent that you really want them to understand.
If you
Don't ask me that question.
Why?
They can't
because you're a child yourself.
You're disrespecting me.
I'm not trying to disrespect you or disrespect anybody here, but we're in the same age group right now, right? I'm my age, right? I'm not over the age of 18 yet. So for us
I'm
to
older
be in the
than
same
you.
age, but we're in the same age group. So why are you in age group with kids?
No, the age group that I got was 18 to 20.
That's mine as well.
So
I'm in 16 to 17.
And I talk to people who are in the 10 to 13 range.
Yeah, sometimes Roblox like gets it wrong. I've seen ones where different age groups. I don't know why. It just it happens. That can happen, to be fair.
So before you speak, know the fullest is 10, okay?
Okay, well that's why I asked you. So you could have just answered me instead of being smart.
I don't need to answer you.
Okay,
it's time for you to be
obviously
smart.
I'm gonna be confused. So
Okay. Well, let's just bring it back. Let's just bring it back to the discussion. The thing is the
thing
idea
is
that you
that's
have-
never going to happen.
Can you just? What's never?
That's
what
it.
Are you saying? What?
You're talking about something that I've never ever heard before.
I'm
okay,
just
so are
responding to your
you.
argument. Yeah, what do you?
Nobody parents their kids like that, and nobody's going to.
That
like,
you
what?
heard
This is
of?
such a bizarre. This is such a bizarre argument. I've never heard such a strange argument in my life.
And you're
I've
not
never
trying
heard
to
somebody
understand either. What y'all
I
do is
am trying
repeat,
to
repeat,
understand.
repeat, and then you're
So
not
do
getting
you.
it.
So what are you
I gave.
doing? You've
Hold
been
on,
repeating
Jordan.
The same type of thing
I
the
gave you
whole time.
statistic. You skip over it, and then you act like because you told me why. Like, give me an estimate. What is the statistics? So if a statistic is telling you this, right? If I tell you this, why am I just extraordinary? What I'm saying.
You said 60% of kids.
69.6% exhibits behaviors consist of hitting all those violent behaviors in the past month.
Okay,
In the
so
past
what
month.
does this have to do with your what you're saying?
The point is, those kids are bad. They shouldn't have to do all those things to get their point across. So instead of you allowing that behavior because they're a kid, you don't think they'll understand, you need to teach that kid that what they're doing is incorrect in the situation that I just explained. At 69% is close to 100 than 0 in the past month. So it's not like they never in the past month.
Do you expect kids to just be like saints the second they're born.
Yeah, this is.
I
like,
expect
their
them to
first
know
years
right and
being
wrong, and not
born.
to.
They
And I
need
don't
to
belittle
learn
them.
it. They need
I
to
don't.
learn right and
Right,
wrong.
exactly. This is the best approach to learning it, of letting
it's
the kid
not.
explain, right, what they did wrong. If they can't explain it to
Can we bring
you,
some other people up? Can we get some more opinions?
if they can't explain it to you, then that's not a good situation.
What if they don't know how to? What if they're too
This is
young
the
and they
same
don't know?
person that's saying kids, they'll understand, but you think they're able to manipulate to that kind of degree. 8-year-olds and 6-year-olds.
They can, yes, they can feign.
But you claim that they can't grasp, but they can do something like that. So that would make like they can grasp the situation. I will call you a name, but I will get voice back.
Can you hear me?
So yes, hello.
Yeah, I was low-key confused with the opinions. I didn't even know what opinions everybody had.
Birch, are you listening? Were you listening or no?
Yeah, but I was, kinda, not really, but I was still confused. So
how are you confused about something that you didn't even listen to?
What? So, anyways, what's your opinion about this? Hello? YOLO. Why we just sitting here in silence? Awkward.
What'd you say?
So what's your opinion?
So if a kid is exhibiting the behaviors in the description on a daily basis, then you need to change the approach. So that will be removing them from the public. Because not only can the public influence the behavior to be more extraordinary, the public can also do more negative things to your child than what they're already doing, because they just don't care about something that's not their own child. So they might call the police, they might hit your child, they might bully your child for doing things like this, which honestly I feel like it's acceptable, but it's still not right. So what they needs to be done is removing the child from the environment to show action. Their action has a consequence. Removing all their electronics, putting them in their room, telling them what you did is wrong, right? Allowing them to organically come to you and say, I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to do this, and I will change. And when you see the change, allow them out to do the things that they were doing, which would be rewarding, like hanging out with their friends, going to restaurants. There'll be a reward type of situation of their behaviors being changed.
What are the kids you're talking about?
The ones in the description.
No, like how old?
3 to 17.
3 to 17. 3 years old? I don't think they would need to be hid from the public at 3 years old. Because
Do you understand why they're being hid from the public?
Yes, because you said they were doing all the things in the description on a daily basis.
Yeah, so what point you don't understand now?
So they need to get help, not be isolated.
How else would they get help?
By getting a therapist, hello? Because there's something mentally wrong with them if they're doing all that. But a 3-year-old, really? I don't think a 3-year-old needs to go to a mental hospital because they're doing all these things. It's a weird argument.
Do you have a binky in your mouth?
No.
Then what's on your character?
It's bubblegum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect example of someone who's older than 3 years old who doesn't understand nothing. Next.
Hello.
Hello.
So starting off, I just want to get to the definitions, because I know that we can't agree if we don't even have the same definition. So what do you think about
everything
kids
that you need would be in the description?
What do you think about kids with autism? for example. I work at a after school. It's called Kumon. We do extracurricular after school reading and math. I know there are multiple kids, ages probably 4 to 8, that we see screaming usually on a daily basis just because they have autism, and it's usually an extreme amount. So I want to know where you stand on autism. Where do you stand on mental illnesses or restraints, maybe mental disabilities that can cause kids? Hello? Hello?
What'd you say?
Sorry, I wanted to know where you stand on kids with mental disability.
I stand like that's not a good.
Okay, so you think kids with mental disabilities such as autism, because I know I work in a place where kids usually do have autism, and we hear them screaming a lot. We hear them, we usually have to calm them down, but that's because of their disability. What do you think about that? Is that acceptable?
No.
Okay, why do you think that's not acceptable? Do you think that they...
She got cut, but it's not acceptable either or. And people who have those kind of disabilities don't even like being in public in the first place. They like to be in their own homes because they're comfortable being inside their own home. So why would you purposely take them out just for that person to feel uncomfortable? They don't need any friends, and all they need is their caregiver. They don't understand stuff the way that other people understand things. So I don't understand what that point was going to be about. But you like cat's eyes, so whatever. Hello.
All right, what you were talking about for the past is unrealistic scenarios, okay? First of all, if a kid would be doing all of these crimes, committing all of these crimes, stealing, screaming, acting bad behavior, that comes first and foremost from the family, okay? So it's the parents' fault if the child turns out like that, in which most cases it does not. So you're talking about you're being too much here, okay? You're acting as if the child is an absolute demon, and no child is that, and they should be allowed freedom. They should be allowed to go outside. You're taking all of
Since
their
when do a demon disrespect, steal, break, hit, and trespass?
You're making them sound like that.
No, but if I'm making them sound like that, what the demon does that?
Can you take? I'm not being 100% legit with that. What I'm saying.
If I am not allowed to do that, why are you allowed to do that?
Allowed to do what?
You said I'm being unrealistic, but you are literally being unrealistic. So you're allowed to say that, but I'm not allowed to say what is actually very realistic.
You're being too much with that. I'm just made
let's stop bringing up stuff that has no relevance, okay? I've never expressed that kids that act like this are demons. So I don't know where you get this in your head. You got that in your head. I didn't get that in mine, by the way. Okay? It's not unrealistic that kids act like this. What's unrealistic is you think that it's okay.
It's how a child acts in the younger age. First of all, they don't steal. That only happens in so many little situations.
So if they don't steal, then you say it only happens. So which one is it? Do they steal or no?
No, they do not steal. Are you freaking kidding me? They are not the people that you're trying to make them out to be, okay? First of all, you've never had a child, okay? Have you ever taken care of a child?
Neither are you.
Have you had younger?
I work with children on a frequent basis.
Do you answer my question? Do you have any siblings?
Yeah.
Are they
I have a
younger
little
or
brother.
older?
I have a little brother
Okay,
that's 5.
so you think your little brother should not be allowed to go in public?
If he's doing that and nobody allows him to.
See, that's what you're doing. You're talking about the specific situation where the child does all of these things.
I mean, it would consist of all
Stop
these
talking
things.
about generally. You're putting kids in the topic. You're talking about generally. Stop putting
So,
them as a
can I
whole.
ask you a question?
Ask me a question.
So, you said a kid wouldn't do all these things. All right. So, what kid exhibits hitting doesn't... So, when they hit, they don't be disrespectful. They don't break things. They don't steal things. They don't trespass, and they're not screaming. So, what kid only just hits?
Did I say that kids hit? Did I?
No, but you said no kids do all these things. So, I'm asking you, what kid just hits in the description? That's all they do. They don't scream, they don't steal, they don't break things, they don't disrespect or trespass.
You're trying to
If you can't answer the question, say, I can't answer it.
Oh, really? Well, if you're trying to talk about a scenario where a kid only hits, then what is your point here?
You're saying that no one child has do all of these things, right? So tell me what child that just hits and don't break, steal, scream, disrespect, or trespass.
There are children that do that. I do not know where you're trying to get that to.
What child would that be?
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what child.
So this is I don't know. So what child does only break things? They don't steal, they don't scream, they don't be... I'm not talking about Cam. What child? What child?
Oh, so what child, in your opinion, does all of these things and deserves to not be in public?
Most.
Okay. So you're putting most.
Now answer my question. Can you answer the second one? Yes or no?
What is there to answer, bro? What is there to answer?
What child only breaks objects but doesn't hit, steal, scream, disrespect, and trespassing?
You're going nowhere with this. You're just trying to pick up.
Can you answer
crumbs.
it?
Are you kidding me, bro?
Can you answer
it?
No yes or no?
Arguments.
You can freaking leave. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Who was that? Is that you?
What? Yeah.
With the voice changer? Okay. So, you read the description, right? You know how to read? Okay, so do you disagree or not?
I disagree.
Why?
Because kids need to go to school, and if they're doing all of that and kids don't belong in public, school is public property, and they're not going to learn not to do that stuff if they don't go to school. So
you
it's
think
not just that too. It's also you're not allowing, if they do any of this, like screaming. What's wrong with screaming?
I would just like to ask you a question.
Just
before
wait.
You move on.
Screaming is freedom of speech. Counts as a freedom
no,
of
it's
speech.
not.
And yes, it is. Any word you say is freedom of speech, and screaming.
It depends how you say it.
You could scream for help, and you're
that
saying
would be
they scream for help. That's not okay. Disrespectful. Kids might have an attitude sometimes, but adults do too.
So
trespassing,
what kid?
Adults do that too, not just kids. Stealing, adults do that too. So adults shouldn't be in public either.
Yeah, they're not. If they're doing this, they're being arrested.
Kids don't really be hitting a lot if they're.
Are you listening to me? Do you know I'm here?
Well, I was just saying my stuff because you letted me talk
Yeah,
about how I
no,
disagree, so I don't know why you're interrupting me.
because I would like to respond to your point. Because if I don't respond to it, I'm going to forget it.
Go ahead.
So, like I was saying, do you think a child only exhibit those behaviors in public?
Wait, say that one more again. I didn't hear you.
You think a child can only exhibit those behaviors in public and not at their own house?
They can do it anywhere.
So why would they need to go to school to learn right from wrong when they can do the same inside their own house?
Well, because parents don't always have the right teaching equipment to do that. And you could definitely discipline your kid, but it might include, well, I can't really say that, punishments. But when, and school isn't just only teaching for right from wrong, by the way. School can also just be for
They don't teach
logic
that.
reasons, history. Yeah, yes, they do. School does teach history and that stuff,
They don't
and they
teach right
do
and wrong.
teach discipline. Yeah, yes, they do. They 100% teach right and wrong. Where did you go? What school do you? Wait, I can't ask that. But anyways, what school did you go to, bro? Because yes, they do. They do teach you from right to wrong.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so your excuse of, oh, adults do that too. Adults get arrested if they do that. So your excuse
So
is,
do
oh,
kids.
they won't
So do
learn.
kids.
You don't
So
learn.
do the kids.
You done?
Yeah, but both
Your
go to jail. Actually.
your excuse of they can't learn unless they're in public, but they can exhibit those same behaviors in their own house.
So
So
you think they
I
can
can use the
go
same
somewhere
tactics.
if they're not allowed in? Like kids need to go
No,
outside. They can't just be stuck in their house all the time.
not if they're exhibiting those
And
behaviors.
you said kids don't go to jail. Yes, they do. If they do something bad enough, like hitting someone until
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. I'm only gonna say this, however, I am in between with this topic.
What do you have to say?
Now, I can see where you're going at, but the way you just like sounded, it sounds kind of a little bit too wrong for me. Because if you say if you kids don't belong in public, I can get what you mean. Like if they start doing crimes, I honestly get that. But hitting, screaming, and disrespecting is usually what kids do.
Is that okay? Because it's the usual?
Now, I'm not saying it isn't okay.
So if
However,
it's not okay, why wouldn't you try to change it?
it really depends on their family too. Sometimes their family doesn't teach
If
the
it's
right
not okay, why wouldn't you try to change it?
because, like I was trying to say, some families don't teach it easily, or they don't teach it the right way, which doesn't change it.
If it's not okay, why wouldn't you try to change it?
Because the kid has to be taught. They can't just learn by themselves, you know.
So what point of this is not teaching the kid?
If you're just gonna leave them in their house, it doesn't really teach anything. Isolation isn't even good. Like Charlie said in the chat.
What's also not good is hitting, breaking, stealing, trespassing, breaking either. That's not good either.
Yes, but how does isolation, like locking them in the house, good though? What does that teach?
It takes them away from things that they used to be rewarded on, especially if you explain it to them.
Yeah, but I don't think isolation is explaining though.
Okay, so isolation, what that does, it will let them think. It will have no distractions, right? Because their electronics will be taken away. So it will be no distractions. They will only think about what they did in their own room. So instead of sitting there, playing on their phone, being like, I don't care, I'm just going to play my phone, I'm going to play video games, a distraction, they wouldn't have a distraction. So it would help.
I get the electronics. However, leaving your kid by yourself with absolutely nothing, I don't think that doesn't really teach anything. That just does nothing. Hello? Did you get VC banned? Hold on. Girl, you good? I think she's either AFK or she got VC banned. Alright. Yeah, cause if you leave your kid alone without teaching him anything at all, they only learn to like do nothing. Isolation doesn't help unless you're with them and actually cooperate. Also, I'm pretty sure that's neglectful too. Yeah, that's what I forgot to mention. If you just leave your kid alone without teaching them, that could be neglectful. It could be seen as child neglect, so. And also, I can see where she's getting at with like crimes when it comes to like teenagers, but I don't think a 6-year-old would be trespassing in someone's yard for no reason. Trespassing is like going into someone else's property without consent. Like trespassing could be like going, yeah. Because I usually stutter a lot, so sometimes. But yeah, screaming and hitting. Now that is disrespectful, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not normal. Because people do be hitting and screaming. Not like it's good, but normal people do that all the time, so. Yeah. I mean, I'm in between with this. I get what she's saying, but it just comes out as flawed a little bit.
So I guess you just haven't been listening to what I'm saying.
No, we haven't even heard you for the past like 5 minutes.
I was literally speaking. Are you serious?
No one heard you.
So now we have liars. So not only are you disagreeing with me, but you're lying.
Bro, you're awesome. Ask the chat. No one has heard her.
Of course they're going to agree with you because they're crazy.
No, I'm being serious. We actually didn't hear you. That's why I asked multiple times if you were VC banned.